Week 1 is in the books. Welcome to season 3, episode 2 of your favorite podcast, hopefully, the Weekly Gridiron. And as always, we are your hosts, Adam.
Dante.
And Luke.
Luke wearing the headphones today.
Yeah, I already had him on for something else. As long as this works, makes it easy on me.
Fire.
Should. I'm not noticing anything wrong so far. So, all right.
Yeah,
So
until we get to the end of this recording and we realize that none of my audio was picked up.
Well, right now, I think it's all right. So
I can hear you. So we'll let you know. If
Seems
that
good
changes.
for now. All right.
Anyways, as I mentioned at the start, week 1 has concluded. A strong majority of us, can't speak today. A strong majority of us are very happy, I believe, with how their team did this weekend. I think you can guess who the one person that's not happy is. But we'll get to that. No, it's okay. So I guess Dante, I guess your segment may come later, but we do have some segments we are introducing today or bringing back. So I guess I'll go first before we make the week 2 predictions, because this one still kind of covers week 1. So if you remember last year and the year before, and I believe the year before that, I gave you all the fantasy football leaders by scoring of each week. That is returning now, but there's a catch. We are changing things up this year. So in the past, I did a top 15 with an honorable mention. This year, there are no honorable mentions, and we are moving to a top 10. So it's even harder to make the list this year. If there are ties at a certain number, I'll list 2 players still, but there's no ties this week. Are you ready for your 10 leaders from week 1?
Yes, sir.
All right. In 10th, with a solid 26.08 points, we have Indianapolis Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson in his return. At number 9, with a score of 26.1, probably the score we did not expect to see on this list, one of a few. Isaiah Likely, the top scoring tight end of the week.
Couldn't get his feet in, but
fantasy owners are pretty upset with that, including me.
Mark Andrews fantasy owners,
yeah. Did I say Mark Andrews?
I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, well, anyway, you guys get it. Number 8, with 26.8, we have Joe Mixon in his debut as the starting running back for the Texans. Probably the most unexpected appearance we've had this week. At number 7 with 26.9, Allen Lazard for the New York Jets.
Definitely unexpected.
Rodgers loves him, I guess.
Yeah, I did not expect him to have a big game, but that's where we are, I guess. Don't use Garrett Wilson for all the people that have him in fantasy. So on to number 6 with 28.16 points in his NFL debut, despite losing Jaden Daniels, quarterback of the Washington Red Football Commanders, as I like to call them. Number 5. At number 5, also in that game, but the reverse, 29.66 points for the winning quarterback, Baker Mayfield. Browns fan.
Legend.
And shambles watching that game.
Yeah.
Panthers legend. On to number 4, we have our third straight quarterback with 31.18 fantasy points in his win over the Arizona Cardinals. Josh Allen off to a strong start fantasy-wise. Number 3, and possibly prepare to get used to this with his receiver counterpart now being on IR, with 32 points on the dot in a loss in overtime, Cooper Kupp for the LA Rams. With Puka Nacua now on IR, you may be seeing a lot more of that from Cooper Kupp. But on to our number 2 and number 1, and these both come from the same game from Friday night in Brazil. Props to these guys for doing well with how terrible the field conditions were. Number 2 with 33.1 points, wide receiver of the Green Bay Packers, Jaden Reed, and just barely beating him out for number 1 with 33.2 points. Y'all knew this was coming. 3 touchdowns for Penn State legend and the newest Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley, the week 1 fantasy football leader.
Love it.
Which makes it a total of 3 more touchdowns for him alone than the New York Giants.
Yes. That is absolutely the case. So, Luke, is your segment for after making predictions or before?
Yeah, I'm bringing back the stardom and sit 'em and someone off the waiver wire for fantasy, but I think I'll do that after we have the context of the games coming up.
And Dante, yours is after too, correct?
I'm gonna make mine during once I get to the game it's
Okay.
associated with. So
So, shall we? Well, I guess. Do we want to give our thoughts from how our teams did in week one, real quick?
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. So, which of the winners want to go first?
But go ahead, Dante, if you feel like it. Because
Yeah,
I
I'll
could
go.
add some things about Justin Fields too. I was impressed.
Okay. Yeah. Around what time was it? Like noon before the game started, we got confirmation that Justin Fields would start against the Atlanta Falcons. And I can't lie, going into the week, I really wanted Russ to start. And once Justin was announced the starter, I did get nervous and honestly thought we were going to lose. I thought we were going to lose this game going in because you hear so many things about this new Atlanta offense with Kirk and Zach Robinson at the helm at OC and Drake London getting a new role and Kyle Pitts, and not to mention Bijan Robinson. And then their defense was supposed to be very good too. I mean, two top 8 to maybe top 6 safeties in the league in Simmons and Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell and Grady Jarrett. The list goes on. Atlanta's a good team. I did not expect us to win this game, but our defense played out of their mind. TJ Watt proved that he is the best defensive player in the league once again. And I think I'm just going to assume we could all agree on that. If you want to object, you
Yeah,
can.
I'm inclined to agree.
But yeah, but I think Justin Fields played like the perfect ball that he needed for us to win. We didn't get into the end zone, um, but only 2 3 and outs the whole game. Offense was consistent. Offense moved the ball and got us points. And I think the touchdowns will come. But the real story of this game was the defense. I mean, they looked elite. Our secondary was absolutely incredible. Deshaun Elliott, great pick earlier in the game, and Dante Jackson should have had 2 picks, but got one later in the game to pretty much seal it.
Panthers legend Dante Jackson.
And that's right. And yeah, I thought our pass rush was great. We tormented the Falcons O line, and yeah, Steelers win only off field goals. And shout out Chris Boswell. Doesn't get enough credit. Love that guy. 6 for 6, hit 3 from 50 plus. AFC special teams player of the week. Yeah, Steelers win 18-10. I cannot be more happy.
Yeah, I was impressed. Fields, for what he does, and you know what you're getting with him, which is hitting outside the numbers, none of the safe passes, designed runs, keeping plays alive. He did what he was asked to do. That was to keep drives alive. He didn't try to get too greedy at times, although he had at least 2 or 3 very nice deep shots to George Pickens, one of which was called back, but at least the one that went 46 yards or so. Didn't get into the end zone, but Chris Boswell took it from where they got him. Which, if you're getting in the red zone or close enough to the red zone and field goal range 6 times, and I think there was one where they went for fourth in the red zone and they missed it. So they were driving down the field, like you said, only a few 3 and outs. So I was impressed. Um, I thought the Steelers could have ran the ball a little bit better, but I guess we'll just see as the Arthur Smith offense adjusts to live reps and to see what works and what doesn't. As far as Atlanta goes, I was a little surprised by how rusty Kirk Cousins looks. I know obviously he's coming off of a career-changing injury, but I thought we've talked about this before. There are different tiers of guys who find a second or third home after being somewhere for a long time. There's the Derek Carrs and the Trubisky's and those kind of people. I thought that Kirk Cousins is above that tier, and I still think he is, but he did not look that good this past week. He was even-footed where in Minnesota his entire career, even in Washington, he lined up with his right foot forward or something I saw on Twitter. So just certain things that Atlanta is changing about his play style that would worry me a little bit as an Atlanta fan. But you like to see Kyle Pitts getting in the end zone, and I don't think they'll be as bad as they looked this week. But Pittsburgh certainly good job on capitalizing on that. it was a real Pittsburgh win.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you guys said. It felt good to see Justin Fields not throw any picks and uh, lead a team to a win.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, then that brings up quarterback controversy. Now, who's going to be the starter the rest of the way? And
Well, supposedly, maybe you were about to get to this, but apparently it's Justin Fields for the time being
it's
next
just,
week.
I mean, they're prepping Justin Fields as the starter. I saw the Tomlin press conference yesterday that I watch every Tuesday. I'm a giant virgin when it comes to the Steelers, honestly. But yeah, I watched the Tomlin presser and he said, yeah, Fields is prepping to be the starter, but if Russ like immaculately heals up and gets better, um, I guess it'll be him. But I kind of want Fields. I'll say it.
Yeah.
It will be
Yeah,
cool
I
to see
think
the Russ
that's
revenge game though. So
that. We are missing out on that as far as Denver goes. But I agree to the extent of there's a conversation about Rust where he's a 1 year guy and he's much older than Fields. So if you had started him, and I'm not saying that there would have been anything wrong with the way he would have played, but when you eventually get to Rust, because they will, they have to see sort of what they have in him. When you eventually get to Rust, there's going to come a point where if you sit him after 5 or 6 or even 7 games, that's it. You're not going to end up resigning him. You're going to say, let's see what we have in Fields. But what you have in Fields right now, he's getting an extra shot, which is he's going to play and he has the security of until Russ is ready. He could even mess up and still get another chance, depending on how Russ plays. But it's not like this is it for Fields. This isn't Fields' job to lose right now. It's Fields is kind of a placeholder, and so he can go out there with a little bit more courage to move the ball downfield, and I don't think he has to worry about it as much.
yeah, yeah, I totally agree.
Now, I can talk about the Patriots game if we're ready for that. Where it comes to quarterback play, let's first touch on Jacoby Brissett. We won the game, right? He did what he needed to do. He had, I think, the least. He was down there as far as passing yards goes. I think he had like 130. But listen, it was a down week for all quarterbacks in the NFL. He didn't turn the ball over. I'll get to our defense in a second, but he actually extended some plays with his legs. Who I think I'm paraphrasing, but as Gerard Mayo said, who won his coaching debut, he as well was surprised that Brissett was able to extend some plays with his legs because, again, I'm paraphrasing, but he said that he's the slowest black quarterback in the league. And it's probably pretty accurate, but he did a good job. The Bengals secondary wasn't causing him a lot of problems, although it was a very weird day on offense. Ramondre Stevenson, who, in his credit, I've been doubting because I didn't love what I saw out of him last year. He fits the Alex Van Pelt offense fits him like a glove. It's going to be awesome. I wish I hadn't passed on him in fantasy as many times as I did, which was every single time. But as far as the moving the ball in the air goes, yeah, I was disappointed because I really thought that we were going to make more of an effort to get some sort of certain people involved. Polk only with 1 catch for 6 yards. I didn't hear much of Demario Douglas. Many of those guys, I think believe Tyquan Thornton had the most targets, which you know how I feel about him. And the most yards on our team was Austin Hooper, who I totally forgot we had, but I guess.
I didn't even
So
know
as
you.
long as
Austin Hooper's a
yeah,
Patriot? I had no idea.
he's a Patriot and he is our leading receiver thus far,
What?
with a total of 31 yards.
I had
Not
no
that
idea.
inspiring, but um, but we beat the Bengals, and credit to that defense. Man, I should have been more wildly delusional over the offseason, saying certain things like the Patriots might have the best defense in the division. The Patriots might have a top 5 defense in the AFC. It was incredible. Uh, the multiple turnovers forced Cal Duggar with the fumble forced on like the 2 yard line when the Bengals were about to score and take the lead at that point, I believe. Um, Christian Gonzalez with the lockdown on Jamar Chase. As he said, and I'm not paraphrasing, this is verbatim, he said, Jamar Chase is not getting a new contract on me. I thought that was awesome. He played his heart out. He played awesome. He's now only played in like 5 or 6 games, but he has guarded Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, AJ Brown. He's guarded all these wide receiver ones, and he's only let up like 40 yards in his career. So I couldn't be more excited about the defense and the way that Mayo's going to call it. I'm very, very, very happy about this one.
Yeah. As am I.
Yeah, it was a little something to at least temporarily shut up the Instagram gurus, not like ourselves, because we never say anything incorrect. Who all had the Patriots at 1-16, 2-15, 32nd or 31st best team in the NFL, or the worst or second worst team in the NFL. We're not going to be that bad, but this is going to be a very painful leeway into a conversation about a team that may be that bad. Adam, if you want to talk about the Panthers.
What a segue. That's crazy.
Yeah, it just kind of fell in my lap, and as brutal as it is, I'll just let Adam vent.
I mean, I don't know what to say. What do you want me to say? Like, this may be the first time I have nothing. Like, I watched that game. I could not be more humiliated as a fan of that team. I'm saying that honestly. Like, that is not the worst Panthers game I've ever watched, but it's up there. It's very up there.
Adam, I'm not laughing at you. It's just like
No. I know you're not.
and I feel bad.
I know you're not. I know you're not laughing at me. I did not expect Bryce Young's improvement season to start with his worst QBR in a game of his entire career, but shout out our coach. This is what happens. I tried telling you to give our starters some reps in the first two preseason games, especially Bryce, and you didn't do that. I knew they were going to come out flat. Why should I be surprised? I mean, that's your first mistake as head coach, in my opinion. And to make matters worse, the heartbreaking injury of all-pro candidate, not all-pro, Pro Bowl candidate, best player on the team, Derek Brown, out for the season with I forget what injury, maybe a leg injury or something, but that's already a huge blow to the defense. I don't know who's going to step up now, but I don't know what to expect going forward. I'd like them to be at least watchable. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so, but apparently it might be. But I don't know. They still have games on their schedule that you look at and you could think are wins. Like they play the Raiders in 2 weeks. They play the Broncos eventually. The Commanders were set up for possibly the worst NFL game in league history in week 10 when the Giants and Panthers play in Germany. I don't know what fan on the East Coast is going to wake up, besides me, is going to wake up at 9:30 in the morning on Sunday to watch that.
I'll probably watch it. I mean, to be honest.
I know you will. Like,
I mean,
I probably won't.
I know you.
I'll probably sleep in.
I won't wake you up. It's just
thanks.
At this point, I don't know what fan base has it worse right now, us or the Giants. And to even be in comparison with the Giants is just flat out embarrassing.
I would honestly say the Giants, since they're paying Daniel Jones all that cash.
I was about to go down that route too.
Bryce Young.
They have a playoff win in the last 3 years though.
That's fair.
Bryce is not
playing. Have a Super Bowl appearance in the last 9. So
Bryce is not playing well, but at least he's on a rookie deal.
That's true.
But you're probably going to get the number 1 pick in a year that is not good to draft quarterbacks from what I've heard.
There's at least hope for the future for the Panthers, I think.
I hope. I mean, I've said this last year.
Hey, Adam, as bad as it gets, it will never be as bad as being a Pittsburgh Pirate fan. I'll just say that.
I guess that's fair. Or at least a White Sox fan.
I'm not sure about I'll give you a White Sox fan in the current moment.
Yeah.
At least the Pirates are getting better every year.
I guess. Slowly but surely.
But the Panthers have slowly gotten worse and worse since their last playoff appearance which is about to be 7 years ago. I'm a senior in college. I was a freshman in high school the last time we made the playoffs.
Jeez, man.
That was Christian McCaffrey's rookie year.
Holy fuck.
I know, right?
Adam, did you see the viral moment of Pat McAfee that person who tweeted about the Panthers? Do you want me to read it to you?
I did not, so go ahead.
I think I
I,
remember.
I love this tweet. Somebody tweeted, Panthers fan here. The logo was tatted on me. At least my fantasy teams are doing well for now. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but being a Panthers fan makes me envy my grandfather since he's dead and doesn't have to witness what's taking place in Charlotte.
It's wild. That's just wild.
Holy.
Oh, yeah, and to add insult to injury, I normally don't criticize our players, but seeing JC Horn tweet at fans
That was bad.
trash talking him after he got straight up burnt by receivers and just didn't admit it. Now he deleted the tweet, but tweeting at people, that was just, come on. I mean, it was just awful to see. Like, normally
bad.
I'll see my players of my teams talking trash on Twitter and be like, yeah, go get them. But this time I was like, are you serious? Like, he's got no room to talk, but he deleted the tweet and he better get better going forward because this is a big year for him. He was drafted in 2021. This is year 4 for him. After this year, we're talking 5th-year option or paying him long term. The injuries and the inconsistency right now, what's showing that we should, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I guess. We got to get to week 2. So
Yeah.
let's
Well,
get to
from this, we don't really have to talk about our teams. Why don't we talk about the games that much?
yeah.
So,
So as you see down there, Dante was the winner of week 1 in a very close week 1. And I want to give us all credit because in years past, I've not had good week 1s when it's come to predicting games. And I feel like week 1 is kind of known as the hardest week to predict for the NFL season. So I want to give us all major credit with those records.
yeah.
Fantastic,
man. We know ball. People don't.
We do know ball.
As I said, we've never said anything incorrect. So,
except for all picking like Vegas or Cincy, apparently. That okay.
we don't talk about picking Vegas.
I won't go any further. Let's get into week 2 of the NFL season.
Actually, Adam, might I just add, if you want the Panthers to win a game, we should all pick Vegas week 2.
Every time we all pick the Raiders, man. Every time.
Every single time, man.
All right.
Anyways.
Starting with this game, and I think it's interesting because I looked at the schedule. The next 2 weeks of Thursday Night Football are highlighted by the AFC East division. The Bills and Dolphins play tomorrow night at the moment we are recording this, now at the moment you're watching this. And next week, the Pats and Jets play on Thursday Night Football. So everyone's getting featured. Must be nice to have primetime games.
Do you have none?
We have none.
Oh my God.
Why do we deserve one, though? After 2-15 last year? Anyway.
Wait, Germany? I guess Germany is even
I guess,
time.
okay, I guess it's not technically a prime time game, but I count it anyway.
Nationally televised, but yeah.
Okay, anywho, Thursday night we got the Bills and the Dolphins, both teams coming off close week 1 victories. I think I know who I'm going to go with if you guys aren't ready, but
Go for it.
Go for it.
So should I start then?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of tried this last week and it didn't work out, but I'm going to give it one more shot with the team that is upset from a previous game type of prediction. If you remember last year, week 18, the Dolphins lost the division on their home field against these very Buffalo Bills. And I feel like they've been waiting for this game to get some revenge. And both teams looked a little questionable last week. With that being said, I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins to win this game.
Nice. Luke?
Do you have an answer?
I do, but I want to hear yours.
All right. I'm on the spot a little bit, but I'm going to go with my gut and say the Bills. Tua is 1-6 in his career against the Bills. They beat them when it matters, and it's week 2. The division needs to be established sooner than later. They're going to beat them when it matters, I think. This game could really go either way, but we look at week 1, right? The Bills win a shootout against the Cardinals. The Dolphins win a tight race against the Jaguars, thanks to some late game, interesting moments like turnovers and the sort. I'm not sure. This is in Miami. I'm not really sure that matters. I'm gonna have to come around to it eventually. Josh Allen is a very good quarterback. He doesn't need Stephon Diggs as much as I. Well, I'm not gonna say as much as Stephon Diggs needs him. That's not really true either. But I don't think he needs Stephon Diggs for the Bills to be a good team. I don't think their defense is quite as bad as people are going to think it is. I know they allowed like 27, 30 points to the Cardinals, uh, but I'm higher on the Cardinals than most people. We went over this last week. This is kind of a toss up for me, but these sort of divisional games, you have to throw some logic out of the window. Teams are going to look better and worse than they actually are, depending on divisional games, and the Bills have that effect on the Dolphins. So I'm going with the Bills.
Dante?
This one's really tough. It's one of the harder
It
ones.
is really tough.
Um, but I'm gonna agree with Adam. I think I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. Uh, um, one thing Luke pointed out is that the Bills Cardinals game last week was a shootout. Bills defense did not look good. Their special teams unit also did not look good. First kick return touchdown of the new kickoff rules. Shout out to the Cardinals. But
This is true.
I think the Dolphins are going to attack the Bills secondary very well. They're going to control the clock. I think they're going to run the ball well. I expect a big game from Tyreek. And
Raheem Mostert, not that he had much of an impact in week one, is out, and Devon Achane is questionable. But don't think that's going to really stop him from running the ball.
yeah, I think no matter who's in there, I think they're going to run the ball well. But I also think the Bills can too. I think James Cook could have a good game. Yeah, this one's really tough, but I'm going to lean Dolphins, I think. So.
Okay. Next up, we have my second favorite team that had a great win to start their season on Monday night. 49ers taking on the Minnesota Vikings. It is the Sam Darnold Bowl, as he currently plays for the Vikings and played for the Niners last year. I don't feel like I talk about this enough. As a Panthers fan during his time there, I have no hate for Sam Darnold. Sure, his 2021 season was a little, 2022, he looked a lot better. And that was a great season of Panthers football that I truly miss. The Steve Wilkes team, the Deontay Foreman, Sam Darnold, DJ Moore team. That was a fun time to be a Panthers fan. And it made me feel good deep down in my heart to see Sam Darnold play well on Sunday. Given it was just the Giants, he still played very well. But that kind of segues into my pick. It was the Giants he played very well against. Do I think he can keep up that consistency the whole season? Probably not. I'm not going to say he's going to be downright awful, but I think the 49ers are going to make things a little bit tougher for him. And it'd be a little crazy for me to go with the Vikings in this game. So I could say it, my 49ers winning this game. I see you rolling your eyes, Dante.
I just hate the 49ers.
Understandable. I know we kept Brandon Ayuk from you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'll agree with Adam here. I'll go with the 49ers. Not much more to
Yeah,
add.
so I. So
Prayers up to McCaffrey, though. Hope he gets better soon.
Yeah, apparently, I guess he was out on Monday. Could miss this game too, apparently. So
Yeah, I think
I have him in 2 fantasy leagues. I hope he gets better.
Rappaport said it would be an uphill battle for him to play this week, but I don't think it really matters.
I don't need him. Don't rush him back.
Yeah,
I don't
and
think it matters either.
who was there? Sorry to interrupt, Luke. Who was
No.
remind me of the running back's name who played the other night?
Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason played real well.
Looked great. Yeah, I'm going to go with the 49ers as well. I thought about it for a second. I think it can happen, an upset here, but I'm not that excited about it.
I'd be stoked. I'd be stoked if it happens.
I just mean like it doesn't light a fire in me. Like I think this is the game. Sam Darnold is going to be like, I actually am here. No, I just think it could happen, but probably not.
Luke?
Speaking of could happen, but probably not. I'm on the fence about this one actually, but Seattle did look good last week. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But man, if we win this game, I am probably going to pick us against the Jets in week 3, but we have to win this game first.
2 free wins.
Yeah, I've already seen people on Twitter saying, we're gonna walk out of MetLife 3-0, but we gotta win this one first. I'm
Okay.
not so sure about it. They looked good last week, but maybe something about Geno Smith, the former Jet, will ignite something in him where he's like, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to be this good at football, and he'll forget how to play football. We'll see. Uh, it's not going to depend on the defense because I think the defense is going to keep doing its job. I'm not super scared of the Seattle offense, although it did look good against who they even played. Denver?
Yes.
Yeah. They look good against Denver, but that's Denver. We'll see. Um, our offense needs to show up. That's what's going to be important. We're probably not going to get by with the game management we got by with week 1. I'm not sure why the Cincy secondary and why they let us charge on the field like that a couple times. Mondre needs another big game. The offense needs to show up more in this game if we want to have a shot at winning. But I don't think it's impossible. I'm going to go to the Seahawks reluctantly.
Adam?
And it's
I'm
fine if
sorry.
you
Who are
guys
you
do
going
too.
with, Luke?
Seattle.
Okay. Um, yeah, no offense to the Pats. I'm going to agree with Luke here and go with the Seahawks. Although I will say I was very impressed by how the Patriots did in week 1, given week 1 and 2 are apparently like Joe Burrow's worst weeks ever. But, going into the year, I was kind of questionable in Seattle. So I think this could definitely be a close game. I think the Patriots defense is going to make it interesting. I'm excited to see how Christian Gonzalez does on DK Metcalf after how he just did on Jamar Chase. Should be an easier matchup for him. So I say Seattle's going to win, but I think it could definitely be by 1 score. I think the Pats are definitely going to be in it.
Yeah, I agree. However, this was almost my upset of the week. I really almost took the Patriots, but I'm gonna go with the Seahawks.
If if Seahawks defense didn't look as good as it looked last week, and it looks really good,
Mhm.
then I probably would have. But I
Yeah.
I just can't. We'll see. Again, if we win this game, I'm going to be insufferable. But let's get to halftime with a game first.
Yeah. Oh, big one. Oh, Jesus.
All right. Yeah, and I was actually curious. So while you guys were predicting this game, which is kind of, to be honest, Luke, why I asked who you picked again, I looked up Jaden Daniels' stats from last week because I was curious how he did, truthfully. And according to the ESPN app, in a 37-20 loss, he went 17 for 24 with 184 passing yards, did not pass for a touchdown, but did not throw a pick, and he had 16 rushes for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. Fairly solid debut, which is why I think this should fairly be an easy win for the Commanders.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend a lot of time here.
Yeah, I agree. Commanders.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Cool.
Cool.
Alrighty. That was easy.
Okay. I couldn't avoid this game forever. Here we are. Why was I saying Giants? We're not on the Giants game anymore. Carolina Panthers 2024 home opener is against the Los Angeles Chargers. First time they will open against an AFC West team since 2020 when they opened against the Raiders. Lost that game. First time they will open against an AFC team since I think we opened against last year. Oh, it was the Saints. First time we opened against an AFC team since Baker's revenge game against the Browns in 2022. Spoiler alert, we lost that one as well. I don't think that's going to change, unfortunately. I think that trend's going to continue, especially with how good the Chargers looked last week. I can't say I'm a huge Jim Harbaugh guy because my college fandom, my opinion on that Michigan team. And sorry, Mom, I said the word Michigan with the M. I know I technically shouldn't do that. But anyways, yeah, based on how we looked last week and how the Chargers looked last week, I'm going to pick LA in this one. Although I hope we make it interesting. Hopefully, guys, come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Please, for the sake of my fandom and watching this game, I'm praying you make it interesting.
Chargers. Hoping for the
Chargers.
best for Bryce Young. Hoping he looks good.
Thank you. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so am I. Although, especially because of the run game, I am already regretting just like 2 weeks ago, saying that, yeah, I think the Chargers will be last in the division. I think they could be second in the division now. Harbaugh knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants to do. I don't hate the take that Joe Alt could be the first ever lineman offensive rookie of the year. He
Dude,
was
that'd
that
be
phenomenal.
insane.
He was that phenomenal against Max Crosby, which is literally what he was drafted for. So uh,
Well, he's gonna
I'm
have to
taking the
play.
Chargers this week.
He has to play TJ Watt week 3, so that'll be the real test.
That'll be a real test.
But you're going Chargers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say, as a Ohio State fan as well, shout out to J.K. Dobbins. It was great to see him have a good game Sunday. Love
Absolutely.
J.K. Dobbins. Anyways, on to this game. Saints and Cowboys. I will gladly start this game because I want to go on a little bit of a rant. Dante, what did you say about the Browns last week? What you hope happened to them?
I said the Browns were going to get, and I quote, shit stomped by the Cowboys.
Yeah,
And
I hope that's what happens to the Saints.
yeah,
And I think that's what will happen because I want to save anyone from getting fooled from last week. This Saints team is not that good. I promise you they are not that good. Congrats. You beat the Panthers. That's what you were supposed to do. We're not good. Okay. This team is, I can't stress how mediocre they are. And if my Saints fan friends are listening to me say this, I'm sorry for saying the truth. But look, Kamara used to be great. He's on the decline. I promise you, this may be his last good year. Chris Olave, I love. Marshawn Lattimore, I love. Probably the only two Saints players I can get behind. I guess Derek Carr too, but maybe not after last week. Dallas is a good team. They are going to expose the Saints. I promise you that. And if they lose, if the Saints win after this game, I will come on this podcast and I will say some good things about the Saints next week. You can bookmark that. If they somehow beat the Cowboys, I will give them all the credit they deserve next week. But it's not going to happen.
I love this Adam, dude.
I'm
Yeah,
mad.
I'm kind of rocking
Okay.
with this.
I
Pissed.
don't want people being fooled. This Saints team is not all that. Congrats. You beat us. Free
Yeah,
win.
I'm kind of rocking with this angry.
This
I
is
want to see all my enemies get destroyed version of Adam.
I cannot wait to see CD Lamb score like 3 touchdowns on that Saints defense next week.
Adam's turning into me. This feels like AFC North ball right now. This is crazy.
Well, then
Before you guys go, Luke, since you keep track of it, Dallas is absolutely my lock of the week. I was about to say upset. Lock of the week.
All
yeah, before I declare mine, let me take a quick extra look at this slate of games. Okay, it will not be my lock of the week, but I am absolutely picking Dallas.
As will I. Yeah.
All right, easy.
Okay. So we all picked Dallas in that one, understandably, because that's what you should do. Cool.
Yes, sir.
Okay, on to an interesting one here. Colts and Packers. And this game was going to be really good, but now we are under the understanding that it could be without Mr. Jordan Love,
It will be without Mr. Jordan.
who unfortunately is probably injured is injured for 3 to 6 weeks starting this week. So I guess we're looking at Malik Willis getting the start.
Could have been a Steeler.
Give me the Colts.
You're in
love-
the same
I
place
love the
right now,
Packers.
Dante.
I know. I know.
I love the Packers. Had they have had Jordan Love in this game, I would have picked them. They don't, so I'm picking the Colts instead.
Well,
So am I.
yeah.
Well, okay, I can. Sorry, I am definitely picking the Colts. Like Malik Willis, I'd have more faith in Ryan Tannehill. I'd have more faith in Andrew Luck right now. We'll see. But
Luck right now.
I'm picking the Colts.
That's great.
It's kind of crazy. But
Yeah, you guys know the Packers are my Super Bowl pick. And this really puts
Could
it
win.
on things. They still could, depending on how fast Jordan Love comes back and the quality of his play once he comes back. But I'm really bummed out for the Packers, man. because they were supposed to be real good this year. Um, that being said, I love Anthony Richardson. He's my fantasy quarterback, and he made some plays last week. Wasn't consistent, only 9 completions, which is insane. Um, but I think he's going to be good this week, and I'm going to roll with Indy.
Yeah.
All right. Fairly easy week for WG so far. We haven't had a disagreement since Thursday night football,
Mm-hmm.
but this next game could provide some. We've got two teams that looked, I guess, other than the Jaguars, rather underwhelming in week one. The Browns for sure did, which Dante, I know you were happy about.
Hey, they call me crazy. They call me a madman, but the Browns got shit stomped, and I loved it.
I picked Dallas too. I used less language, but I picked
Less
Dallas too.
expletives, sorry. But I can go first if you want.
Yeah.
Floor is yours.
Jags, lock of the week.
Lock
Okay.
of the week. All right.
That may be bold, but
I was thinking about making it mine. Luke,
So
you
that means Adam, you're picking the Jags.
well, yeah. Okay. I guess I did reveal that. Mine was a little more what's the word I'm looking for? Tough to pick this game. Because I believe the Browns could look better than last week, but I am gonna go Jacksonville. They showed more promise last week.
It's a little bit of a tough pick because I don't love the Jags offense, and the Browns defense is going to be the consistent spot on that team for the most part. Um, but the, the Jacksonville defense looks good too. It's a little misleading because that 80-yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill, that's 80 yards and 7 points. And so if you erase that, that defense looked pretty good that day. So I am going with Jacksonville as well. Although I don't think it'll be as bad as it was last week for Cleveland. I'm sure it won't.
I hope it is.
I know you hope it is. I think you hope it's worse.
I'm the biggest Browns hater of all time. I hate them. Anyway.
I can't say that I necessarily blame
So Adam, did you go? You went Jags, right?
Yeah. I kind of revealed it saying it was almost my lock of the week.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Good one here, honestly.
Another interesting game. Titans nearly won last week. Had a 17-point lead until the Bears defense took over and Will Levis created that iconic picture.
you. Yeah, he fell right to his knees when he threw that pick six. And just on his knees, put his hands on his head. Yeah, something like that. If you're watching, not listening, but it was fine. Yeah, there it is. He fell straight to his knees, and it was funny.
That picture
And
I'm
I
not
can start it.
so hard.
I can
I can
start
say
it
I
if you
don't,
want.
I don't know who I'm going, so yeah, please do.
Oh, I know.
Actually, go ahead, Dante.
I'm going Jets. However, I'm rooting for the Titans. But I think the Jets they should get it done. Like Kyle Brandt, if you guys know Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football, one of my favorite analysts.
Mhm.
He's the guy who does like the angry runs. Um, he's great. I love Kyle Brandt. He made a really great point. He was like, Good Morning Football is not going to be one of those doom and gloom shows, i.e., like First Take or Get Up. The Jets played a really good football team week one. They played the 49ers. And let's not panic on the Jets. Sorry, Luke. Still think they're going to be a really good football team. And I think they're going to take care of business in this game against the Titans. So I'm going to go with the Jets. Let's not overreact and call the Jets a bad football team because they're not. Sorry, Luke.
Don't tell me to say the same thing about Cleveland, but I would.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Quarterback's bad. I'll say that. They have the fifth best quarterback in the division. I think Justin Fields is better. Anyway.
I really wanted to do it. I really did. I'm gonna pick the Jets.
Yeah.
I we like Will Levis, but
Yeah, I
man,
love Will Levis.
he handed them that game.
He did.
and I'm gonna need to see some calm game managing before I can be like, well, this is gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Because the Jets defense isn't going to let them march down the field 5 times. So he's going to have to be smart about it. And is the Titans defense that good? Maybe. They certainly shut down Caleb Williams, but Keenan Allen looked bad. Roma Dunze didn't look great. They didn't run the ball very well. So I didn't see enough from Tennessee to pick them this week, unfortunately, as much as I would want to. And I'm also starting to think, I'm looking at the rest of these games. I'm not sure where my upset of the week is coming. But it's not going to be here.
Luke, you didn't want to do it. Dante, you didn't want to do it. I'll do it. Give me the Titans.
All right,
That's
man.
where I was thinking of going, but I wanted to see what you guys would say first. So,
Cool.
I mean, this team kind of surprised me last week. I thought it was like a for sure Bears win. Well, I guess maybe not for sure, but they looked
You were
great.
confident
They
about it.
didn't. There's no reason why they can't look great again this week, but just don't blow it. It's that simple. And I know it would bring a smile to Luke's face if the Jets start 0-2 going into the Patriots Thursday night game. So
Yeah, that would be funny.
But
let's
Titans,
keep
Adam
going. What'd you say?
Titans.
said you went Titans.
I
Let's
did.
go. Oh yeah.
All right. Playoff rematch of last year's divisional round. And I will keep this one short and sweet. Josh Knapp, if you're watching, I apologize. But this is my upset of the week. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to come into Detroit and get a win.
Yeah. Luke.
I can't do it. Once again, I can't do it. Baker looked awesome week 1, but the Lions had a really, really hard fought win against a really, really good football team. And they're just going to be too, there aren't enough holes on the Lions team for the Bucks to slip through this time. I think Baker can look fine again. He's not going to look that good again because that's a good game for anybody. I think he can look fine, but this is in Detroit, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Especially in Detroit, I'm picking the Lions.
Adam kind of stole my thunder. This is also my upset of the week. Give me Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I will gladly be on the other side.
I thought I'd be all alone on that one.
No.
All right.
I'm rocking with the Bucks.
All right, I guess we'll see.
Okay. And this is the last game of the 1:00 slate. Ravens.
Ravens.
Lock of the week, Ravens.
Lock of the week.
I guess that
Lock.
would have been a good lock of the week, huh?
Yeah.
You know what?
Well, yeah, just stick with yours. We each have reasonable locks of the week. This is definitely mine.
Flock of the week, if you will.
Lock of the week.
It's your,
Yeah, right.
it's your flock of the week, Luke.
Whatever you want to call it, Ravens are winning.
Oh yeah. All right, we'll move on. That was pretty easy.
Yeah, let's go to 4 p.m. Okay.
Screw it. Upset of the week.
Again?
Yep.
The back week.
Yep.
Hey, he's got to be right at some point.
Not really, but I don't know. Because imagine if they get more MHJ involved.
They didn't last week.
They
hope
got
they do.
to eventually.
Yeah.
They have to, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to act like Kyler Murray didn't say this morning that that's not my job. Because he did.
That's what he said. I mean,
He
yeah.
said
he
it's
said-
not his job.
He
Oh.
said, I can look it up.
What are you talking
I
about?
know. While we have discourse, look up the
Bro
tweet,
quoted an iconic Peter Parker Spider-Man verse. I missed the part where that's my problem.
well, I guess what's the exact quote?
We believe you, Luke. Like you said, we're never
No, well, yes, he said, as a quarterback, obviously you're going through your reads. Sometimes the ball will go to him, but that's not my job. I have a sense and a feel for guys when they don't get the ball and when they're getting the ball. So he's basically saying, if you're not open, it's not my problem. But I'm going with the Cardinals. I don't know because they also already looked pretty good. They didn't get Trey McBride that involved. James Conner looked good. Um, and the Rams, they had a good game. They almost won that game, but they did. It didn't. They couldn't carry it to the end, and neither could the Cardinals. Look, I don't know. I need an upset of the week.
I'm going
the
LA.
Ram, the Rams are a very good football team. I can't blame you, but I'm
Yeah,
going to be right about the Cardinals one of these times. I really think they're going to be better than some people think they're going to be.
I could see the Cardinals winning, but I'm going LA.
I'll go with Dante for this one. I'll go LA.
Dude, if the Cardinals win and the Lions win, Adam, we're screwed, bro.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, if they both, well, if I'm wrong on both of those,
Arizona
that's
definitely
not for
could
the
win.
season.
I'm
Yeah,
not ruling it out.
I sure hope so.
Okay.
Chiefs.
This is always a fun game.
Sorry.
It always
No,
should
no, no,
be.
no, no. That's okay. Um, Luke, you want me to go or do you want to go?
I can go because
Go for
Chiefs.
it.
Um, I from the outside looking in, if I had gone week by week 2 weeks ago and looked at these games, I would have been like, "Oh, this is a good one. This could be an upset. This could. Who would it be an upset? Would the Chiefs be favored? But it's not. In Arrowhead, this is. I think. Yeah, it's not going to be close. I don't think. We'll see. The Bengals are going to turn it around because they always do, but not here.
I'll quote LeBron James one NFL prediction live stream he did once. I forget which game it was, but I'll say it like he did. I've seen a few people pick the Bengals for this game, believe it or not. I'm not one of them. Give me the Chiefs.
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
But yeah, I mean, Chiefs looked really good last week. Bengals not so much. Bengals could look better this week, but it's like what's that meme with like unstoppable force? What is it called, Luke?
Unstoppable force and immovable object.
Yeah. The the Bengals are meeting something that you can't
And
handle.
unstoppable force.
Well,
It's
yeah,
Chiefs and it's Arrowhead.
this one's another good meme. I would call it "Coughing Baby" versus "Atomic Bomb." I also quite like that one, and I think it's
Yeah.
appropriate
We want to go that harsh on Cincy, man.
for now.
Yeah. I mean, T. Higgins probably isn't going to play again. He didn't practice today, so.
Wow.
And at Arrowhead, dude, Joe Burrow is always slow to start the season. And the Chiefs are unreal. Yeah, Kansas City for sure.
All right, Dante.
Yeah, Steelers going to play the Broncos. I think no matter who starts this game at quarterback for the Steelers will win. I think the defense is going to be too much for Bo Nix to handle, and more importantly, the Broncos' offensive line to handle because their offensive line is towards the bottom of the league, and the Falcons' offensive line, who we played last week, is towards the top of the league, and we got to them pretty good. So hopefully that means we torment this Broncos O line and get out of here with the win. I just want to see us get in the end zone. But more importantly, if the Steelers get to 2-0 to start the season, I will be ecstatic. So I'm going Pittsburgh.
Luke,
Uh, so am I. Yeah. Um, this is another one where like if you don't have the context of week one, you might say, "Oh, I mean, the Sean Payton team might be tough enough." Bo Nix looked good in the preseason, but with the context of week one, absolutely not. The Steelers should win this one pretty comfortably.
Hopefully. Hey, if we win by 10 or more points, that'll be like a Super Bowl. Because
I
we
think
haven't
it
done
should be
that
tough.
in so long. But
I will use Luke's iconic quote. I will piggyback off of you guys, and I will also for the Steelers. For the second straight week, we will clean sweep with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Although I will say, I think this could be another game I like to call Steeler football, where it's a little close than we expect, but defense does its job. They get the job done. Although I would like to see the Steelers find the end zone this week. And I think they can do that.
I think
May
we will.
may have to be a handoff to Najee or Jalen Warren, but I think they'll get it done.
Hey, if Fields could get a passing touchdown or two, if he looks good, or Russ, but I'm assuming it's going to be Fields. Um, I'll be stoked, honestly. But yeah,
Denver's a hard place to play, but it's not impossible to win there.
that's that's why part of me wants Russ to start is because he played here all last year and he knows like the altitude factor. He knows, what it takes to play in that stadium. Um, of course, the revenge game headline would be sick, but whoever starts, I think the Steelers get the dub.
Okay, we're on Sunday night, and this is a fun matchup. I really like this matchup. Well, I don't know if I'd say up and coming for both because the Texans are kind of there. We all know the Texans are good, but the Bears are on the rise. We've got sophomore CJ Stroud and rookie Caleb Williams going at it. But I'll start. I'm going to go with the Texans in this one. I think home field is going to play a factor. I think Stroud's going to do his thing, have a good game. I would like to see Caleb do well too, but I think in the end, ultimately, Texans offense is just going to be too much for the Bears to handle.
Yeah, I'll agree with Adam here. I'll go with the Texans.
Yeah, so I think everybody would agree the Texans didn't have the best offensive game week one. They just snuck past the Colts. And at the same time, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon all have great games. So they'll be fine. Going Texans.
Okay, on to our last game, and I will present y'all with a little stat before we make our pick. I did some research today. This is the third straight year Kirk Cousins is playing a week 2 primetime game in Philadelphia.
Third
Did
straight.
last year on Thursday night and did the year before as well. Kirk
Wow.
Cousins is 0-2 in those games. And it's also primetime Kirk Cousins. So I don't know if that reveals who I'm picking, but I'll say it anyway. I'm going the Eagles. Go Birds. Not the Falcons.
Uh, sorry, Adam, but I am going to go with the Eagles. But I will say, I want to see Kirk do well, and I want to see Bijan do well. And I really want, yeah, I want a good year for the Falcons.
I don't hate Kirk Cousins.
How could you? Like, honestly,
Right.
he's a great guy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think Philly's going to dominate this game. Yeah. But, like, I don't
I
want to write
agree.
off the Falcons yet because, week one is weird, Guy shaking the rust off. Kirk could come out and look real good. And I could see the Falcons winning this game, but I can't pick them here. Give me Philly.
I will say week 1, you're right. It's pretty weird. Kyle Pitts had a touchdown.
Yeah.
Something you don't see that often.
That shouldn't have happened because TJ Watt timed the snap so incredibly perfect that the rest were like, that's impossible. That's offsides. But it wasn't. Should have been a strip sack, but
Yeah.
Well, I am going Philadelphia as well. I am kind of with both of you. I am a little worried about the Falcons. I think they'll be fine. I would like them to be fine, but I'm like not totally sure anymore. Week one is weird. But we've seen this before a few times, and like we can dismiss it as week one. That's fine. I think it's the right thing to do. But we just, I'm gonna need to see something that doesn't even need to come this week. But eventually, this team is supposed to be uh, a team that'll win a game in the playoffs, and they need to start competing in games like this. I know it's week two, but um, Philly here pretty easily.
cool. And yeah, that does it.
Dante, did you have your
I was
bold
gonna
prediction?
say,
Or
start 'em, sit 'em for you too, Luke.
sorry if that
Oh yeah, my bold
spoiled what it
prediction.
is.
My apologies. I I honestly
All right.
I had one, but I forgot what I was gonna say. Jeez, let me look at these games again. Oh yeah, Justin Fields, 3 total touchdowns this week. That's my bold prediction.
Could happen. Yeah, one on the ground, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, one on the ground. It certainly could happen. Um, so for my stardom sit-in, which is a little more lengthy than their segments, I don't have anything from last week. I didn't tell you to do anything last week because week one context is important. But now I have an idea about some things. So if you forget how this works, because it's been a while, for all the four major fantasy positions, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. I'm going to give you one to sit, one to start, and one guy I think you should pick up off the waiver wire. And I try not to make this easy. I try not to say start Saquon and sit Kevin Harris of the Patriots, who none of you even knew existed before 2 seconds ago.
Kevin Harris, my goat.
Maybe you did, but I try not to make it easy. You get it. So, but I also try not to make it impossible. It's based off of the prior week and stuff. So, at quarterback, it's the first start of the year, and it belongs to Jaden Daniels versus the Giants. The reason for that, he had a fantastic fantasy debut. It kind of did hinge off of those two running touchdowns, but the Giants made Sam Darnold look like Tom Brady. So I'm sure Jaden Daniels will have a fun day. I think you should sit Tua versus Buffalo. I started to mention a bit about this earlier. He's 1-6 all time versus Buffalo, and his averages against Buffalo aren't very good. They're just about 200 yards, and he is averaging 0.9 touchdowns for one pick. So a 1-to-1 touchdown and interception ratio, but even worse than that, just a bit. So I don't trust him this week. And off the waiver wire, you should pick up Baker Mayfield. I trust that he's going to have a good year against the teams that they should beat. And he's only rostered in 52.6% of the leagues. As Adam said, he was one of the highest scoring players in fantasy last week. Running back, sorry, Adam, I think you should start J.K. Dobbins against Carolina. For now, at least, I would absolutely buy into the hype of his week one. Harbaugh is never going to stop running the ball, and I'm not sure Carolina is ever going to stop people running the ball.
Probably not.
As far as sitting goes, I would probably sit Isaiah Pacheco versus the Bengals. His week one is a little bit misleading. He had a decent fantasy week. I think he had about 14 to 15 points, but he also had a touchdown. So he did not have a very good week outside of the touchdown. And since he probably won't let him do what they let Ramondre Stevenson do to them, but I guess I could be wrong about that. And off the waiver wire, you should pick up Alexander Madison, who, don't ask me why, the Raiders made the running back one week one, and he's only rostered in 24% of the leagues. He had 16 points last week. It should be Zamir White for them, but they're playing Alexander Madison more than he should be played. So for the meantime, pick him up. Wide receiver, I'm going to cash in on a bit of an easy one. CeeDee Lamb. He did not have a very good week one. It was okay. He and Dak will definitely get on the same page. And that New Orleans defense looks way better than it actually is because of the divisional matchup. I would actually sit Xavier Worthy versus Cincinnati. I know I'm making it seem now like the Chiefs aren't going to have a very good week. I picked them. But his great debut was largely due to 2 touchdowns. That's not going to happen very often. As good as he is. And for waiver wire, for wide receiver, I would pick up the Jaguars rookie, Brian Thomas Jr. He's still on the waiver wire in over 20% of leagues, and he had 15 points last week. Trevor Lawrence is going to look towards him very often. And finally, for tight ends, I would start Trey McBride versus the Rams, which is a game I think the Rams will lose. He only had 5 receptions last week, not a great week, but he had 9 targets. So the receptions will come, and until Marvin Harrison figures it out, he'll be a security blanket. Kyle Murray loves him. I would sit Kyle Pitts this week. Philly is a tough defense. He had an okay game in fantasy, but really not very good considering he had a touchdown. So he only had like 11 points. So outside of that touchdown, almost nothing. And we'll wait and see if his production stays alive, but I wouldn't count on it. And off the waiver wire, another easy choice. I would pick up Isaiah Likely. Last week, he was rostered in about 7% of total leagues. That number went up 70%. So just in case he really is going to have that much production week in and week out, go pick him up. Go pick him up while you still can, especially if you're a Mark Andrews fantasy owner. If that trend continues, wait till Mark Andrews has a good game, trade him, and just ride the hot hand. We'll see. But that's my stardom, sit him, and the waiver wire for the week.
Luke, I picked up a guy from the waiver wire, and I would love your opinion on it.
I'm the guy to come to.
I picked up Rashee Rice. What are your thoughts?
I like it. I drafted him in more than one league. I just said it to sit Xavier Worthy. That's not unrelated. I think Xavier Worthy's production is going to be largely based off touchdowns, and I think Rashee Rice is the obvious number one on that team.
Let's go.
I like it.
All righty. I think that does it then.
Yeah, I think that covers it.
Cool.
Adam,
Dante.
And Luke,
enjoy this episode. We'll catch y'all next week.
Go Steelers.
peace.